Psychology. Sexual selection. What is sexual selection? Fitness is closely related to the number of offspring produced. In sexual species, this is related to the number of mating you obtain. Obtaining mating becomes a major component of fitness. However, in most species, this is more true for males than females. To get matings, you must convince other sex to mate with you, female choice, prevent other males from getting access to potential mates, male-male competition. Male-male competitions. Males fight for access to females. Females may not be innocent bystanders. This promotes larger males with more aggressive ornamentation. Humans also have male-male competition. To illustrate better, see Topkapi, Harem, then and now. Another type of protecting females is by showing male guarding from a male neighbor visit. Many animals do this, like titi monkey. Mean number of offspring for males and females must be equal. Each offspring has one mother and one father. One male can father many offspring. For every male that sires two offspring, another male fails to sire an offspring. There are two important points in this rule. Males tend to be limited by the number of matings, and females male to be limited by fertility. Among all, variance in reproductive success tends to be greater from males than females. For greater comprehension, see the chart. Facts about humans. The most prolific fertile mother in history was a Russian peasant farm person who had 69 children in the 18th century, 67 of which survived infancy. Between 1725 and 1765, she endured 27 multiple births, which included 16 pairs of twins, 7 sets of triples, and 4 sets of quadruples. The modern world record for giving birth is held by Lucina Albina from Santiago, Chile, now in her mid-60s. She claims to be mother of 64 children. Of these, 55 are documented, birth certificates apparently being something of a less than serious concern in Chile. Most children fathered. The most prolific father of all time is believed to be the last Safarian emperor of Morocco, Moulay Ismaili, 1646–1727. In 1703, he had at least 342 daughters and 525 sons, and by 1721 he was reputed to have 700 male descendants. There is more variance in male reproduction than female reproduction. What causes asymmetry in reproduction? Generally, females invest more than males. Some of the reasons are: eggs are much larger than sperm, females are generally saddled with offspring, males can theoretically inseminate and run, females are physiologically limited by fertility rates, males are limited by mating rates. Thus, females tend to be choosy, males tend to be more promiscuous. However, it's possible to find some exceptions in this perception. In some species, males provide the bulk of effort to raise offspring. In these species, often the males are choosy, for example, red-necked paralope and seahorses. What should females choose? Females are choosy, but what are they choosing? Among all the options, it can be found good genes, immediate advantage like disease-free males, and males that will provide resources, and sexy males. Good genes. Females can choose phenotypes, not genes. That is why they home in on traits, expensive ones, that are good indicators of genetic quality, because only a male with good genes can afford to maintain bright colors, larger antlers, etc. Males should lie. That is, evolution will favor males that overemphasize the trait females are using for mate choice. Nevertheless, if a gene is unequally good, it should be rapidly fixed in a population. There is no reason that an extreme trait will be genetically linked to the good genes that a female is interested in. The genes causing the extreme trait can not be good in and of themselves, since they push the male away from the natural selected optimum. Immediate advantage. Interestingly, this makes some sense. Females should avoid males with communicable diseases and that could be noticed in their traits. Extreme traits advertise overall health and vigor. For example, birds with mites have red plumage. Lizards with malaria have dull deep lobes. Males that falsely advertise their health should be favored by selection. Females should be good at detecting false advertising. Females that could demand lots of attention from males to have them prove they will be good parents. If it is still hard to explain the really extreme traits that are often seen, one problem is that mating pairs are good targets for predators. Obviously, it is in a female's best interest to mate with a cryptic male. Swordtails females prefer males with big tails unless they sense a predator risk. Then they prefer males with shorter tails. Sexy males. Incredibly, this one works very well. Features runaway process. For whatever reason, some females have an underlying preference for males with an exaggerated trait. Sons of choosy mothers have the exaggerated trait and carry the tendency to be choosy. Daughters tend to be choosy and carry the tendency for exaggerated male trait. This process can run away. Fisher's runaway process. Fisher, 1930. Genetic Theory of Natural Selection, 1958. Phase 1. Females' preference initially evolved because they prefer traits favored by natural selection, and hence the offspring are more likely to carry the beneficial trait. Whenever appreciable difference exists in a species, which are in fact correlated with selective advantage, there will be a tendency to select also those individuals of the opposite sex which most clearly discriminate the difference to be observed and which most decisively prefer the more advantageous type. Phase 2. Once female preference exists, males with the trait are even more fit, both natural and sexual selection advantage. There will then be an ever-increasing selective force favoring a stronger preference and more extreme traits. The process stops when natural selection is eventually strong enough to counteract sexual selection. Genetic correlation determines whether or not the trait will run away, and the equilibrium line appears when sexual selection female preference exactly balances natural selection against male trait. Problems with Fisher process. From a theoretical perspective, the runaway process works. There must be an underlying preference and trait variation to get the system started. Females get nothing but low fitness sons out of it. Males get nothing but a gigantic hit to their survivorship out of it. In general, the runaway process leads to maladaptation from a survival perspective.